Hey, Leo, Intuitive Soul Coach here with your February 2024 bonus reading. Welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and welcome if you are new. These are general readings. Please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, how interesting is this? I'm getting a song right away as I was going through your intro. And the song was When You Say Nothing at All, Alison Krauss. So there could be something here about silence. Perhaps some of you, this is a relationship because we have soulmates and mending here as well. Now, Observer is showing up with flexibility. Bottom of the deck, you have Clean It Up. It's also card 21. That's the world energy. So some of you could be going through a soul contract with a soulmate. It does not have to be romantic. For some of you it is, but it could be a family member. It could be a business contract. It could be a friend. It could even be marriage or a lover, absolutely. But there's something here you are wanting to clean up, or a cycle you're wanting to end or complete, this lesson or this phase of this soulmate cycle. So you start off here with the soulmate card. Some of you may be 41 years old, 52, 49, or you may be born on the 19th or the 21st. So soulmate is coming in reverse. So for some of you, the fact that I was hearing that song even before pulling the cards, some of you may be in silence, or you may be not saying what you truly want to say. This could again be a family member. I am getting here some suppressed emotions, Leo, when it comes to a contract. There needs to be healing. There needs to be mending, either on your side, their side, or both of you. If this is career, there could have been some difficulties between you and another, but I am getting that it was part of a contract. It was part of your growth or your karma or a lesson that your soul chose to experience. So the mending card is showing up primary to your reading. So I feel like there's going to be healing that takes place this month for you, especially with the Clean It Up at the bottom of the deck here. You are completing some new cycles, and I feel for you, Leo, the world is your oyster. If you felt like you were stuck or set back, or there was lack of closure in a situation, I feel with the Observer and the Flexible card that kind of came out together here, this is the universe saying it's okay to be flexible within your approach. You may be analyzing things at this time, Leo, with the Observer. You may be even looking at what went wrong or why something maybe went sour. You may be looking at how you contributed, how the other person contributed. I also feel you're learning a lot. It's not that you're just jumping out of a situation into, a new opportunity, although I see opportunities coming in for you, really beautiful ones. But first, before you move on, there needs to be a period of reflection. And so I feel a big purpose of this is you reflecting, but being flexible instead of just saying this person hurt me or that person did that. Instead of pointing fingers, instead of victimizing oneself, or instead of pushing all of the blame or the shame onto one or the other, the flexible card here shows me that you're taking a look at a situation from all angles. That's a very mature approach. And when we're able to look at it from all angles, you're able to see it from, again, a higher perspective. It wouldn't surprise me to even see maybe the Hanged Man showing up in your reading. Wouldn't surprise me to see the Two of Cups, the Lovers, maybe even the Four of Swords. So we're going to see, what is this situation that you're healing? Look at that. We have the Magician showing up in your energy. Now, the purpose of this reading, this bonus reading, is literally all about purpose. What's the purpose of this job, this relationship, this situation. It can also talk about life purpose as well. So please take it as it resonates. All right, these are already pre-shuffled cards here. So we're just going to pull all the cards out here. Your weakness, current situation. There's the Lovers in reverse. So this makes complete sense with your oracle cards. Your strength, your purpose, secondary purpose. These are partnering up at this time. The main lesson to be learned, desires, hopes, and fears, what you don't know, and advice to achieve your hopes. All right, bottom of the deck. Ooh, Seven of Swords, Leo. Excuse me. There's an energy here about or around betrayal, maybe deception, maybe around other people or another person deceiving you. Maybe that's why you have the mending card showing up in the middle of your reading, or getting honest with yourself. All masks are off, okay? All masks are off is what I'm getting, or they will be very soon. And that's what's going to allow you to heal. That's what's going to allow you to see something that you weren't able to see before. That's what's going to help you remain flexible. Because when someone is wearing a mask, we want to believe, right? We want something so bad. Sometimes our mind plays tricks on us, or our heart stays in a situation because we fall in love with the potential, or we fall in love with the facade that's right in front of us of how good something could be. But when all masks are off, when something is put out in the open, I feel like you're able to examine it now from all different perspectives. The inside, the out, the light, the dark. There is a sense of duality here happening for you, Leo. And your overall energy is you want to manifest a reward. And in the past, you may have thought that you've manifested some sort of punishment or negative consequence. Some of you may have been manipulated. Okay, some of you may have felt like you were taken advantage of. But I see that even if that was the case, or even if that's what some of you felt fooled by, you're realizing that from a higher perspective, you're seeing the role that you played. Maybe you allowed someone to pull the wool over your eyes, or maybe you allowed someone because you were a giver, and there wasn't enough energy to receive, or perhaps you avoided red flags. So what you're manifesting now is healing. I see that taking place here. You want to mend. If this is career, I feel like you want to mend your finances. Okay, you want to manifest contracts, soul contracts between yourself and other businesses, other corporations, other clients. You're trying to be more flexible in your approach instead of feeling like there's only one way to manifest, right? You're being open to the opportunities of abundance. And that's what I see here. This is a really beautiful energy to be in when the Magician is in the upright, okay? Because this Magician energy, which is Gemini, Virgo, it's about you having the necessary tools available to act upon what it is that you want, right? You have the wands, you have the cups, you have the swords, you have the pentacles. And sometimes this is, you know, the man behind the curtain type of energy. Think of Wizard of Oz, right? They have all the tools to be the great and powerful Oz, right? But there is this energy here about you making some new choices that are based in truth, that are based in reality versus based on illusions or based on maybe potentiality. So Magician is showing up. It's also opening you up to infinite. You can see the infinity symbol, the big 8 right there above the Magician, and we are in an 8 year. This is about you opening up to infinite opportunities and potential. Again, that world energy, I see that the world is your oyster, and there's going to be a cycle of victory, of completion. For some of you, if you are in a relationship, you could be taking it to the next level. Okay, maybe you go from dating to moving in, or maybe some of you engagement to marriage. This could be something that you've wanted, and maybe you've had a spat, or maybe there's been some sort of healing that needs to take place before you feel like you can move into that next chapter or that next level. Same goes for career. Same goes for health and self-love. Maybe there's a part of you that needs to focus on loving you entirely before you, clean it up before you can move on and open yourself up to a new opportunity. Because again, I see an opportunity right behind you, right behind this clean it up. You have the blessed card. The blessed card is about miracles, right? It's about opportunities allied with readiness. It's universal divine intervention coming in here as well because you've done the work. So maybe some of you are cleaning it up at this time, cleaning up your act, or you're telling someone to clean up their act. Okay, I get that for some of you. You may be saying, it's time to clean up your act. I've been flexible with you, but now I see something I cannot unsee. And we need to fix this. We need to evolve. All right, let's look at your weaknesses. 7 of coins, diminished returns. It's showing up in reverse. Sometimes your weakness, Leo, is putting your time and energy into things that aren't efficient. They're not timely. They don't pay off, right? This could be you investing your heart into that relationship where someone just stomps all over it, takes advantage, uses you as a doormat. Or it could be that business or that creative endeavor where your heart and soul is not into it because maybe it's someone else's dream, not yours. Or it feels like it's not paying off for you. And instead of it feeling creative and inspiring, it feels like a chore and it feels problematic. The 7s are all about inner awareness. They're about wisdom and insight and reflection. And when it comes to the 7 of coins, you're really taking that observer energy here. And you are questioning what you're putting your time, your energy, your heart and soul into. And your weakness may be continuing to put in that energy, hoping and thinking that you're going to get some sort of gain out of it. But there comes a point when you realize that that's an illusion, that you put that energy into it and you're telling yourself, yes, if I do this, if I continue to do this, it's going to get better. Or if, I can love someone enough, then they'll love me, right? Or if I show them my unwavering loyalty, then they'll show it in return. But that's not how it works. Yes, sometimes that reciprocity by you staying in your energy, that's what you attract. But if you know that the fruits of your labor are not paying off, if your energy is not aligned, then possibly part of your weakness is taking a look at what that could be and knowing when to stay and when to leave. Okay? So the current situation is the Lovers in reverse. There's been a choice that may have haunted you. I'm hearing for some of you, maybe it's the one that got away, or someone may be looking at you as the one that got away. And maybe they want to come back and they want to offer a new opportunity. Or perhaps you've wanted to actively fulfill your heart's desire in your business or in your creative endeavors, but you've chose to stay in that job because it pays the bills. Maybe you chose to stay in a career that, maybe it's not emotionally fulfilling, but it's financially fulfilling. So it's almost like a compromise here. But the Lovers is a choice card. It is about making choices that align with the energy of what you truly want, what you need, your desires. It feels more balanced, right? This Gemini energy is all about balanced decisions. It's about soul contracts, soul mates. And I feel because this is in the reverse, this could be trust issues, disharmony. It could have been a destined relationship, again, or a karmic relationship that you're still healing or mending from, or maybe you want to heal and mend with this person. Let's look at your strength, Leo. Your strength is the 6 of Wands. There is something here about not letting the ego get in the way. This can be a fall from grace. Some of you, you had a fall from grace. I mean, you can't put it any softer. There's been some sort of fall when you felt like you were on top of the world, right? When you felt like, yes, I won. I have come up on top. I have the relationship of my dreams, or I'm really standing in a high position in this career, or I feel great about my health. I feel great about, my mental health, my physical health, my emotional health. I'm just in a great place here. And then sometimes you fall. Sometimes it crumbles. But your greatest strength is to get back up on that horse, right? Back up on that mountain and not give up and get yourself not only to the place you were, but a stronger, more compassionate, more loving individual because of that fall from grace. That is your greatest strength. So the purpose here is to not close your heart to situations that are showing up for you in the present or in the future because of some sort of maybe mending, some pain or some disappointment that may have been in your world in the past. Because when this is showing up in the upright as your strength, this is a glorious win. Six of Wands is the card of accomplishment, achievement, fame, victory, success, recognition by others as well. It's public recognition. But I feel like there's a sense of humility and being humble. That's your greatest strength here, Leo, is to stay humble about a situation, which means no matter how famous you become, no matter how much you have, or how tall you get, or how far you climb, that you're still going to be willing to open your heart and lend with, a helping hand, or lend your energy with grace and compassion, but you also know what boundaries have been crossed in the past. So you know what that fine line is now. I like the Six of Wands being your greatest strength because you do know what it's like to have that fall. And it's probably not going to be the last time you fall. But as they say, Leo, fall down 5 times, get up 6. That's your greatest strength. So whatever this lover situation is, for a lot of you, yes, it's soulmate. It could be a falling out with a friend. It could be, divorce, a romantic person. It could be a family member, a sister. It could be a child. It could be a parent. Soulmates come in all shapes, sizes, and forms here on earth. We don't have just one. Now, let's take a look here at your purpose. What do we have for purpose here? You have the 3 of Wands and the 7 of Wands. Beautiful. Look at all this wand energy for you, Leo. You are wands. You are fire. And this is about noticing where you've grown and not losing the courage to keep growing. Okay, not to allow yourself to feel the pressure from all angles, not to allow yourself to be or feel easily offended. If you haven't read the 4 agreements, you may want to check that out. Life-changing, especially if you can incorporate and integrate the 4 agreements into your life. And one of those agreements is never take anything personally. A lot of times we do. We get offended. We take things personally. We feel like people are projecting. And when we get offended and we take things personally, we tend to succumb to that victim mindset or victim mentality. Okay, and that could be part of your growth. Part of your learning is to not succumb to that victim or to not lose that determination, that bravery. It is about not allowing yourself to put up your defenses so sky high that no one can get in or out, right? So the 3 of Wands is your purpose. Notice when you're growing. Notice when you're staying stagnant. So this is literally growth, notable growth versus unexpected setbacks. And I think that was actually the title of maybe Cancerian's reading, possibly. So if you are on that Cancerian cusp, or if you have strong Cancer placements, Leo, you may want to check that reading out, because I think that was in the same position here, or their strength for sure. But the 7 of Wands in reverse says that at times you have lost courage. You have, you've taken that fall from grace, and it really kind of set you back. It did. It put an unexpected cramp in your goals and your success. But the strength here is for you to get back up and keep on going, because This is an all-in determined energy. I mean, look at her. She is a warrior. He or she, does not matter what your gender is. This is about you not giving up. And I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but you have the 3 and the 7. So we're seeing another 7 here. So when you do have a fall from grace, or there is some sort of unexpected setback, it's important that you stop and you pause and you evaluate and you learn and you question and you stay flexible in your thinking. Because when we get stuck in that one track thinking, or that one belief, or that limiting belief, then we tend to stay in that cycle of setback. Okay, so your purpose, again, is to understand, to evaluate and analyze when you're getting stuck in that and say, okay, I've allowed myself this pity party. Yes, I lost courage here. Yes, I had a fall from grace, but I'm not going to let that define me. I'm not going to stay down on the ground when I'm in this low space. There's only one way, they say, when you hit rock bottom, there's only one direction, and that's up. And that's your power. That's your superpower here, Leo. What's the main lesson to be learned? Whew. Boy, oh boy, 6 of Cups. Not to get lost in the past, not to get lost in nostalgia. For some of you, if this is a relationship of any kind, love, family, friendship, this is a past life connection. That's guaranteed here. This is past life. This is a soul contract. And sometimes those past life contracts are the most difficult, but they will teach us the most, especially if they're karmic, right? And so the 6 of Cups can also be about childhood wounding. So the main lesson to be learned here, and I have a feeling, even though some of you may be, pointing the purpose on job or relationship or situation, I have a feeling that this is so much bigger. This is, the broader scope. This is life purpose in a sense. And so when the 6 of Cups shows up as the main lesson to be learned, it's to not romanticize the past, which we talked about that, not to put that specific rose-colored lens or even an angry lens of bitterness and shame and humiliation. It's about seeing it from, again, that higher hanged man perspective even, and to see it from all different angles so you don't get stuck in the past. And when this shows up, this can also be about not buying love or affection. Some of you may have grown up where maybe your needs were met, but emotionally they weren't. Okay? This can also be, yes, childhood wounding, a difficult childhood, but don't lose that energy within to be kind. Do unto others as you would want done to yourself, despite the harshness that you've seen, despite, how other people act. That's on them. That's their karma. That's their soul's journey. When you stay in alignment and stay true to who you are, that's what's important here. That's the lesson. This can be reconnecting to a past person. It can be a second chance. For some of you, maybe this person you've known since childhood. This could be young love. It could be childhood friends. It could be forgiveness from a childhood trauma, especially if it has to do with family, okay? Or if it has to do with some sort of, they're giving me fight or flight, something that you may have suppressed in childhood because it was very painful, or even, as a young adult, maybe you suppressed it, you set it aside, you numbed it, you didn't want to deal with it, you didn't know how to deal with it because you weren't emotionally mature enough to understand or to process your emotions in the way that perhaps someone who has more experience or more therapy or more growth can. Right? 6 of Cups is a powerful energy to have as a main lesson here for you, Leo. And I absolutely feel, without a doubt, that part of this is to offer you and allow you a second chance in whatever area, especially soulmate contracts, to offer you a second chance or a new beginning here. And I see that once something heals, once something is cleaned up, once we're able to observe and not point fingers or blame or shame, something could be really beautiful and really healthy here for you. Your desires, your hopes, and your fears. King of Wands in reverse. So when it comes to your fears, this is overbearingly goal-oriented. This King of Wands in reverse energy can also be very bossy, very inflexible, very egoic, right? My you know what don't stink. So this is someone who thinks they're Superman, right? King of Wands, you can see him wearing that cape. And maybe the fear is that you are going to attract someone who is like your father, or someone who has a high or altered ego. Maybe your fear is that you will be inflexible or hard to reach because you've been pained. Okay, but the hope, the desire is to be dependably goal-oriented, to be reliable, where people can come to you. You can come to you, Leo. This is your energy here, King of Wands. So this is about you being able to rely on yourself and know that other people can trust and rely on you. This can also be someone who takes charge of their destiny, someone who's active and passionate and driven. This can be entrepreneurship. It can be a business owner, leader, someone who's very successful. They may be a motivational speaker. They could be someone who's a spiritual influencer. And when they're in the upright position, they're very adventurous. They're very warm. And yeah, they deserve that cape because they've earned it. So whether this is someone that you're attracting, someone that you've been with, or this represents your own self, which for a lot of you, because this is your energy here, I feel like you don't realize your superpowers at times, right? And the fears tend to get overwhelming. Maybe the goal or a specific way something should be done shows up and it challenges your success because it keeps you stuck in a one-way thinking or some sort of setback, excuse me, or some sort of manipulation even. We can manipulate our own selves. Our mind does it all the time, right? Through limiting beliefs or through fears or through, being brainwashed by, social media or by the news or by whatever. You're a superhero. You have superpowers. It's up to you to uncover them. Let's take a look at what you don't know. Okay, what you don't know, what you don't see, what may be blocking you. Queen of Swords, Libra in energy. Now we do have the Aries in the North Node, Libra in the South Node. You've heard me talk about a million times because North and South Node is actually quite important. It's significant. You may want to check out what your personal North and South Node are because that South Node is past energy. And because I think part of your life purpose here is to work through that past energy, past life, past karma. That could really help you understand, some of the whys. It could help you put something into perspective here. And then that North Node is our destiny, right? It's our future. So we have a past and a future energy with North and South Node. Now back to the Queen of Swords here. What you don't know is your thinking may be clouded at times with your emotions, okay? Or lack of emotions for some of you. Now, the Queen of Swords, she's a very intuitive, clear, focused queen, right? When she wants something, she goes for it, but she's all about the truth. Tell me the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. She is the off with your head queen. You may have heard her called, right? She is amazing, right? She's intelligent. She's intuitive. She's observant. She is full of integrity and full of honesty. But when you are deceiving yourself in any of those ways and you're not being true to yourself by being those things we just said, it's going to drain you. Or if you are surrounding yourself with others who are lying, who are manipulating, who are using their words to really hurt you, okay, to cut you, it can really feel like a drain defeat here with the Nine of Wands in reverse. So what you don't know here is you will and you already have withstood some sort of adversity. But I feel with this 9 showing up here, you're coming to the end. 9s are about completions. 9s are about solitude. So some of you, there could be a time here or a moment of, again, pause, rapport, rest, and letting your guard down, because the 9 of Wands is also the card of the wounded warrior. And some of you have been cut by maybe some sort of deep, painful truth. And they're giving me the song. The first cut is the deepest. Okay, the first cut is the deepest. So some of you, this first cut happened in childhood, or this first cut happened with your first love. And it's something that may have been growing and growing and growing for the remainder of your experiences, right? Maybe it's an unresolved trauma response, okay? But this is about you being able to get clear on your intentions, but being able to observe everything from a fair or neutral perspective, because the Queen of Swords, she is fair. She's all about balance, right? She's the justice. She wants there to be balance. And she's also knows all about karma, right? So I feel what you don't see here is that you're coming to the end of something that has been unfair, and I feel like there is going to be balance here, and that's why you have the clean it up. That's why you have the mending. There's something coming back into balance after a little bit of struggle. I'm not going to lie, there's been struggle. Now let's take a look at advice to achieve your hopes and desires. What's the advice here? Wow. Oh, wow. You have the Six of Swords, strength, upright, and the Nine of Swords in reverse. Look at what it says here. You can't make that up. Nine of Swords says acceptance, accepting past trauma. So the purpose here, I mean, we talked about a lot. You now are equipped with your weakness, your strength, your purpose, which we have as the Three of Wands, the Seven of Wands. Your purpose is to become better, not bitter. And that's been a phrase. It's one of my favorite. I say it all the time. But it has been showing up in the month of February amongst a lot of the readings. We have two choices. We have free will. That's the beauty of free will. We also have choice, right? You have a choice to become bitter because of the past, or you have a choice, Leo, to become better because of your past. It's up to you. Nobody else can make that choice for you. It is your responsibility to heal some trauma, even if that trauma was based in childhood, even if that trauma was unfair. It is up to us. It's our responsibility, because when we heal, the world heals. And so your advice to achieve your hopes is to accept some sort of past for what it was. That's why you are observing. That's why you're staying flexible. You're not staying rigid, right? What's the opposite of flexibility? Rigidity. That creates neck issues. It creates stiff neck. It can create tension and tightness in the body. It can create disease, also known, or dis-ease, also known as disease, right? It can create heart energy issues. It can create a whole lot of havoc that we don't want, that we don't need, right? We don't need to attach ourselves to any of those things because we're staying stuck in the past. Some of you, this does talk about sleep apnea, nightmares, tossing and turning, anxiety, depression, right? That may be something that you've gone through in the past. But the good news is, what can overcome any of that and all of that? The strength. The strength, which is you. The strength to live. The strength to persevere. This is an unquestioned confidence within oneself, within yourself, Leo. Even though you've exhausted your endurance at times, right? You've hit rock bottom. You've had a fall from grace. But remember, your greatest strength is to get back up. And I absolutely love this strength card. It's one of my favorites, right? It's not one that we typically see when you see the lion and the girl sticking her hand in the lion's mouth. This is a different depiction of strength. And I really like this one, for one, because I love the beach and the ocean. But for two, if you've ever ran on the ocean, or if you've ever ran in sand, you know it's not an easy thing to do. You sink in and it takes more momentum and more energy and more motivation. Gets you in shape. It sure does. But this guy has a prosthetic leg, right? It feels at times like all odds are against him, but he didn't let himself succumb to one of life's biggest challenges. I can't even imagine, because I have both my limbs, both my legs. But for those of you who have ever suffered some sort of loss within the limbic system, or is that a thing? The limbs, right? Whether it's been a loss of any sort and you want to give up, right? You feel like there's not a lot of hope and you feel like you've exhausted your strengths. You feel like you're going to stay in that fall from grace. Not only is this guy coming back, hitting the ground, he's hitting the ground running, stronger, more determined, more resilient, and more confident than he probably was before he even lost his limb. So this strength card depicts the energy of physical strength, but it's also mental strength. You got to have a lot of mental ability. And for those of you who have ever watched the shows like Naked and Afraid or anything like that, you know that it's not just about physical strength, it's mental agility as well. And I see that that's your advice, right? That's your advice. You have the strength on all levels to not succumb to the weaknesses, to not continue putting your energy in things where you're not getting a return. And you have the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is change. It is being able to move towards change instead of staying in that energy of being reluctant to change, right? If this strength character, if he was reluctant, he would most likely be in his wheelchair, right? And he would have succumbed to a life of, well, I'm not saying you're going to have a life of misery staying in a wheelchair, not at all, but he wouldn't have challenged himself, or he feels like there's not a lot of options for him. But because he has mental capacity and strength, he's challenging himself to go above and beyond. It reminds me of also like those movies such as Soul Surfer, right? Where I think she loses her limbs too. When she's out surfing, she gets bit by a shark and continues to get back up on that surfboard. So yes, I understand that not everyone is going to, lose a limb and come back, but this does represent something in your life that took a lot of strength. And yes, it will, but you're strong enough to come back, right? Like I said, get knocked down 5 times, get up 6 here, but know when to shift the energy, know when to change or move out of a situation that's causing stagnancy or it's becoming too routine. Don't be reluctant to change. And your advice here is you have the strength to go for what you want. You have the strength here on your side. This is your advice. You're stronger than you think, Leo. Don't sabotage. You need the self-discipline to get through some of those shadows, some of those wounds, to get through the weaknesses, right? But you're stronger than you think, and you have this endurance and this power within because you are the manifester. You are the magician showing up here. That is what I have for you, Leo. If this resonates, please hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share, like, comment, hit that subscribe and bell button if you haven't already. And thank you so very much for being here and tuning in. Lots of love.